He walked to Grand Marais once a month to get the mail, 32 miles. So that he was really an Indian. He liked walking everywhere. Anyway, and then he would carry supplies back. He could carry 300-pound packs, but he could make it to town in one day, but coming back, he'd have to camp overnight. It took him 3 days carrying 300 pounds. And they lived very on dried beans and rice, and the Indians taught him how to do wild rice in the ponds. And the Indians really taught my dad so much. The ground up here is rocky and not good for growing, and they would grow root crops, potatoes, carrots, rutabagas. They would grow them in the boggy areas, and so my dad learned how to do that. And in the winter, the cabins were never very warm, and so they would put the carrots and the potatoes, the carrots and the rutabagas, they would put them in gunny sacks and put them down at the bottom of the lake. And my dad said it was just like a refrigerator. They never grew and they never spoiled. And so when they needed fresh vegetables, they'd just have to chop a hole in the ice. He said they always put a branch up above so they knew where it was. And so that's how they lived until my mom had a baby every 2 years. So now they're in this little cabin, and the vegetables are in the lake, and my mom really didn't have any way to can anything because everything froze in the cabin. They had a wood stove, but they didn't keep it going all night. And so then as they had more children, they added on to the cabin, and they put a cellar underneath that. And oh, my mom thought that was wonderful because now she could can a lot of berries. They picked a lot of berries, and so she could can those, and then they didn't have to put the vegetables down in the lake anymore. And so she thought they were progressing. One thing that was interesting that happened in 1917, my dad got called to report to the draft board for World War I. And he had to be at the doctor's office at 4:30. Gosh, he says to my mom, I'm going to have to get up before daybreak to be there by 4:30. And so he got up and he walked all the way, and he got there in time. And the doctor was examining him, and the doctor said, you know, there's something wrong with you. Your heart is on the wrong side. Well, my dad didn't know anything about that, you know. And he said, I think you better go over there and hop up and down that step so I can see what your heart does with some exercise. My dad said, I just walked 32 miles as fast as I could. Isn't that enough exercise? No, you gotta go and hop. So my dad said he had to hop up and down on this step. And then he listened to his heart and he said, you know, I've never seen this. Your heart seems to be working all right, but it's on the wrong side. And he said, you know, you're gonna be 4F. He said, you got flat feet. You're not gonna be able to walk very far. And he said, with that heart that way, I don't know if you will be able to carry a pack. So my dad was 4F. So he never had to go in the service. So I guess it was a good thing.